Hello, everyone! Welcome to Whispered Tales. Today, we'll dive into a story that reveals why hard work and persistence are the keys to achieving our dreams. As we follow this tale, we'll also pick up new words and learn how to use them in sentences, blending life lessons with fun English practice. So, settle in and stay with us until the end for an inspiring journey. In a bustling town, the morning hummed with activity. Villagers bustled about, some traded goods in the lively market, others headed to the fields, and a few prepared to open their quaint shops. Amid this vibrant scene, a young man named Theo sat under a gnarled old tree, lost in his own world. Known for his laziness and poverty, Theo had the makings of a capable person, tall, strong, and healthy, but something within him had dimmed his drive. He refused to work, yet dreamed endlessly of becoming rich, hoping fortune would simply fall into his lap. Even his meals came from the kindness of villagers who took pity on him. One crisp morning, a wealthy merchant began distributing fresh milk to the town's needy as a gesture of gratitude for a bountiful year. Theo, quick to seize the opportunity, joined the queue and soon held a pot of creamy, delicious milk. Overjoyed, he hurried home to prepare it. Thanks to his father, who had left for work earlier, the small kitchen was ready with firewood and 2 slices of bread on the table. Theo set up the stove, and soon the milk bubbled invitingly. He savored it with the bread for breakfast, setting aside the rest next to his bed. But instead of joining his father in the fields, Theo sprawled on his bed, lost in daydreams. He imagined that if he became rich, all his troubles would vanish. His gaze fell on the pot of milk, sparking a fanciful vision. By tomorrow, this milk will harden into cheese. I'll sell it at the market and make money. With that, I'll buy a hen. The hen will lay eggs, and those eggs will hatch into chicks. I'll raise them until they grow, and soon I'll have a poultry farm. Theo's imagination soared like a river in flood. I'll sell all the chickens and buy a few cows. I'll open a dairy farm, and everyone in town will buy my milk. I'll become wealthy, buy jewelry, and even the king will purchase from me. I'll grow richer, marry a beautiful girl from a wealthy family, and we'll have a handsome son. If he turns out lazy, I'll teach him a lesson with a stick. How could he be lazy when his father built an empire from just a pot of milk? Caught in his fantasy, Theo grabbed a stick and swung it, imagining he was disciplining his idle son. But in his fervor, he struck the pot of milk beside him, spilling its contents across the floor. Snapped from his daydream, he froze, staring at the mess. Disappointment sank in as he cleaned up the spilled milk, only to resume his idle musings. The next morning, Theo wandered the village, hoping for another charitable handout. Nothing had changed. His life remained steeped in poverty and misery. Friends, we often harbor grand dreams, yet do nothing to achieve them, sitting idle in a truly shameful reality. What if we adopted a new rule? Our actions must match our aspirations. To succeed, the key is hard work. To excel, the key is discipline. To seek divine help, the key is prayer. Even if laziness tempts us, we can triumph by changing our habits. New words and sentences. Aspiration, a strong hope or ambition to achieve something. Example: her aspiration to become a doctor drives her to study hard. Distribute, to give something to people. Example: the teacher distributed books to all the students. Bountiful, large in amount. Example: the farm yielded a bountiful harvest this season. Imagination, the ability to form ideas or pictures in your mind. Example: children often have vivid imaginations, creating magical stories. Poverty, the state of being extremely poor. Example: despite working tirelessly, some still live in poverty. Miserable, very unhappy or uncomfortable. He felt miserable after losing his favorite book. Accidentally, without intending to, by mistake. She accidentally spilled juice on her homework. Fantasy, an idea or dream that is not real. He had a fantasy of becoming a superhero and saving the world. Persistent, continuing to do something despite challenges. Her persistent efforts led to mastering the piano. Generosity, the quality of being kind and giving. His generosity shone when he shared his food with the homeless.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We are jumping straight into a really fascinating piece today. It's a moral fable called Theo Spilled Milk and the Power of Persistence. And our sources, they use this short story to give some quick, powerful life lessons. It's really about that gap, the one between what we dream about and the actual effort we put in.
Right.
So our mission today is pretty simple. Let's pull out those core insights, try to understand why persistence is so crucial, and maybe absorb some of the vocabulary the source uses to make it all stick. Okay, let's unpack this thing.
Yeah, and what's really compelling about this, I think, is how focused it is. It's clearly built to teach something. It blends that universal moral, the value of hard work with very specific language development.
How so?
Well, the idea is that the narrative technique makes it stick. So when you remember Theo's failure, this very specific failure with the milk, you're also meant to remember the words linked to his lack of effort.
Okay, I see. And that failure really starts with Theo himself, right? We meet him in this bustling town. It's described as a real hub of activity.
Exactly. You've got villagers trading, people heading out to the fields, which the story notes are bountiful, producing a lot, shops opening, it's all happening.
And Theo, he just stands out because he does.
Yeah.
Well, nothing. The source is pretty blunt, calls him known for laziness and poverty.
And the irony is, like you said, the potential. The text makes a point of saying he was tall, strong, healthy. Physically, he could have been doing something useful.
But mentally, or maybe motivationally, he's just stuck. Refuses to work, but spends all his time dreaming about getting rich.
Yeah, just hoping fortune falls into his lap somehow, which of course it doesn't.
So he ends up relying entirely on the generosity of the villagers, right? Their kindness, basically, for his meals. They pity him.
That reliance on charity, that's what leads to the inciting event, this wealthy merchant feeling grateful for a good year.
A bountiful year, as the text says.
Right, a bountiful year. He decides to distribute fresh milk, just give it out to the needy people in town, and Theo sees his chance.
An opportunity that notably requires zero actual work from him.
Precisely. He gets in line, gets his pot of milk, rushes home.
So now we've got Theo. Lots of potential, big dreams, and now this tangible thing, a pot of milk that he got purely through someone else's kindness.
He's got the seed capital for his dream empire, you could say, puts it right next to his bed.
And he does do one productive thing initially. He prepares the milk, sets the pot aside. His father even left him breakfast.
Right, 2 slices of bread. But instead of, say, joining his father in the fields afterwards, nope. He just sprawls out on his bed.
And gets lost. Completely lost in fantasy.
And here's where it gets really interesting. As you said earlier, his body's idle, totally still, but his mind is just racing.
His imagination goes into overdrive. That ability to conjure up these huge mental pictures, it's working overtime here.
Oh, absolutely. He lays out this whole milk to riches plan, all starting from that one single pot of milk.
Step by step.
Yeah, it's quite specific. Step 1, the milk will turn into cheese by tomorrow. Okay.
Seems plausible enough, I guess.
Then he'll sell the cheese, buy a hen.
Okay.
The hen lays eggs, they hatch into chicks. Suddenly he's got a poultry farm.
Wow, that escalated quickly.
It keeps going. He sells the chickens to buy cows. Now he's opening a dairy farm. He's getting wealthy.
So from milk to cheese to chickens to cows.
Right. Then he's buying jewelry. He's even dreaming of selling milk to the king.
He's really built this up in his head.
And the ultimate peak of his aspiration, this really strong hope he has, it's about family. He's going to marry a beautiful girl, have a handsome son.
The happy ending.
Well, sort of, because the climax of this whole fantasy, bizarrely, is about discipline.
Discipline, the guy who won't work.
Exactly. That's the incredible irony, isn't it? Here he is, living in actual poverty, completely dependent, and he's fantasizing about punishing his future son for being lazy.
You can't make this stuff up.
He literally imagines grabbing a stick to teach this imaginary son a lesson. He's thinking, how dare you be lazy? Look at me, your father. I built all this from just one pot of milk.
He's completely bought into his own story. He thinks he's already done it.
He has. In his head, he's the hardworking patriarch, not the daydreamer on the bed.
And that's precisely when reality intrudes, right?
Bang! Right there. He gets so caught up in the fervor of this imaginary discipline.
He actually grabs a real stick.
Yep. Grabs a stick lying nearby, swings it like he's about to hit his imaginary lazy son,
Oh, no.
and accidentally, completely unintentionally whack. He hits the pot of milk beside the bed.
Spills it
All over the floor. The whole milk to riches empire just poof, a puddle on the floor.
That's quite the crash back to reality.
Snaps him right out of the daydream, you'd imagine. The sound, the mess, disappointment hits him.
Does he do anything?
Well, he cleans it up. Another small, sort of productive action, interestingly.
Okay, so maybe a lesson learned.
You'd think. But no. The source is very clear on this. After cleaning it, he immediately resumes his idle musings. He just goes right back to daydreaming.
Doesn't go find work. Doesn't go help his father.
Nope. Back to the safe comfort of the fantasy.
Wow. So the cycle just continues.
Absolutely. That failure to change, even after the crash, locks him right back in. Next day, he wakes up to the same old reality. Still in poverty, still feeling miserable and dependent.
And just wandering around hoping for another handout?
Exactly. Hoping for more generosity.
Okay. So the fable is, it's not exactly subtle about its message then. It actually tells us what Theo was missing, right? What are the keys, according to the source?
Yeah, it spells them out pretty clearly. It connects his shameful situation directly to the fact his actions didn't match his dreams. Key number 1, success needs hard work. Pretty basic.
Can't argue with that.
Key number 2, to really excel, not just succeed, but excel, you need discipline.
Right. Control, focus.
And then it adds another layer. It suggests that prayer is key if you're seeking divine help, which is interesting. But the main path to beating laziness, that temptation,
Yes.
is changing your habits and being persistent.
Persistent. That's the word that keeps coming up.
It's crucial. Persistence is about, keeping at it, even when things get tough, even after setbacks. Theo had the aspiration, the dream,
Loads of aspiration.
but zero persistence, zero follow-through. His failure wasn't just spilling the milk, it was his refusal to actually do something different afterwards.
Even after the dream literally collapsed right in front of him.
Exactly. He just reset the dream instead of starting the work.
It's interesting how the vocabulary words themselves almost tell the story.
They really do map onto his journey, don't they?
Yeah, like he receives generosity,
Because of a bountiful harvest being distributed,
which fueled his fantasy and imagination,
leading to this grand aspiration,
which then collapsed accidentally.
leaving him stuck in poverty and feeling miserable.
And the only way out offered is persistence.
It's a neat structure. It links every concept to a stage in his failure. The lesson is clear. Dreaming is easy. Anyone can do that. Building the actual thing takes persistence.
So what does this all mean for us listening to this? We have this character, Theo, with all this potential, tall, strong, healthy, the source says.
Right, raw potential.
But it's just wasted.
Yeah.
Totally wasted because he couldn't tell the difference between thinking about doing something and, well, actually doing it.
And that spilled milk, it's such a perfect symbol. It's not just milk on the floor. It's the future he imagined just evaporating because it only existed in his head.
Yeah.
Until you match that ambition, that aspiration with real discipline and real persistence, any big idea is just fragile. It's like that pot of milk just waiting for an accident.
Which leaves us with a bit of a challenging final thought, maybe.
Go on.
The story ends with Theo cleaning up the mess, yes, but then immediately going back to his idle musings. Just resuming the fantasy.
Right back where he started mentally.
So we kind of have to ask ourselves, don't we? How often do we do that? After a setback, a failure, maybe a metaphorical spilled milk moment in our own lives?
Yeah.
How often do we skip the hard part, the persistence, the work, the habit change, and just jump straight back into the comfort of the next big fantasy, thinking maybe that this time it won't require the same effort?
Oof. That's something to chew on. It's easy to retreat to the dream.
It really is. Something for all of us to think about until the next deep dive.